All right, so my name is Yeves Perez. I am the co-founder and CEO of Workbnb, okay? So raising capital, going to market, these are like things that I'm like getting really great at, okay? And it's all measured by like traction, like what do you achieve week after week, month after month, all that type of stuff. But one of the things that I'm excited to talk about in the field or area of go-to-market is how you prepare to go to market will ultimately determine on how successful you are, okay? You can make a stellar product. You can come up with really great ideas, but really you have to do something that is incredibly challenging, and especially today, okay? You have to get a lot of buzz on what you're doing, okay? And I don't know if you guys have ever had this happen to you, where it's like one day you're doing something, you're around some people you know, and they're buzzing to you about a company or a product, okay? And then on a different day, in a totally different other situation, somebody else is buzzing about that same product. Has that happened to anybody? Okay. One of the greatest examples of that is this whole ChatGPT thing, right? Everybody's talking about it, right? That is really hard to replicate. But one of the things that I want to teach everybody here is you can do one tangible thing to actually help you achieve that, okay? And that is creating culture within your company to where your employees or the people who you work with are on the same page, buzzing about you. And then you can get your customers buzzing about you because they believe in the culture of the company, not necessarily how well the product is, okay? So one of the things that I like to, help relate to these stories is things that are like Vegas related, okay? And we all, remember Tony Hsieh, right? Zappos, it's done its thing. I mean, it's really had an impact on corporate culture across the world, right? But one of the things that they really did well was create a culture of being weird, just weird, right? Like they embraced weird, like, and even when it came to like how they ran the company, like being able to return shoes that you didn't like, everybody thought that was weird. Right? Nobody ever heard of that before. So I'm a big fan of studying other businesses to learn things. And I just wanted to talk about this from a numbers perspective, that Tony was able to get a large majority of his employees to just be extremely excited about the culture of the company, okay? And I don't know how many are in the room are founders. I know we got founders right here. Are there any other founders? Yeah? Okay. Anybody thinking about building a product or launching a product? Okay. All right. So, leading up to your launch, we all think about launches in the wrong way. Most of us do. We think about like this linear single event that we're just going to pick a date and that date's going to work and we're going to take off and we're going to have like a kick-ass time signing up users, okay? But if you can actually get people to believe in the core things that you believe in. So, and I'll take this one from Tony and his group. Diversity was like a really big thing they believed in, right? And, they didn't really talk about it that much, but it was something that was internal discussions, okay? And when they talk about like these things that they decide on their culture, such as like the relaxed clothes at work, like literally I could work at Zappos like this. I could show up on a Monday meeting with a cheetah print shirt and a cowboy hat, and I'm not standing out,
What about the beer man?
If you want to run your shop like that, that's not, I'm not going to say anything, but actually, hold on. Product placement. No, I'm just playing. But it just gets people excited. And I got to tell you, excitement is like one of the most underappreciated things that founders just don't tap into, okay? They're more excited about the product than anything else. And that energy is displaced because, again, when they go and they launch and they don't get the results they're looking for, they're hurt. They think, oh my gosh, people don't like the product, people don't like me, I don't think this is going to work, and then they give up. And so many tech founders give up way too easy. But again, if you are going to give yourself ammunition to launch, and let's say you want a good runway into your launch, how much more successful are you going to be if everybody's talking about you? So even if you don't get a lot of signups, but you're getting a lot of people talking, it's going to give you more hope and the team hope that it's like, we're getting the buzz. Let's just keep this thing going because it will start to catch fire. And we've seen great products like Slack catch fire. We've seen other great products catch fire. And if there's hope for your product or your company or somebody that you're working with, culture is something that you can do at the ground level before you go. Now, one of the other things that I wanted to just point out here is that they focused on delivering happiness, okay? Delivering happiness is extremely hard to figure out, okay? Because what we've learned in all kinds of scientific studies is that money doesn't really make us happy, okay? A lot of people have money and they're not happy, right? So one of the greatest things that I've adopted in Workbnb is we talk about autonomy. Autonomy makes people happy. Now, who's familiar with this term autonomy? We kind of have an understanding what it means, yeah? Okay. So it just for a little reference, my team member over here, he has an assignment that he's working on, but he's not being micromanaged. He gets gentle reminders about updates. And if he misses a target, it's up to him and his leadership to help make the target happen, right? But it's just the sense that he's not being overworked, he's not being overmanaged, and he's not being underappreciated, that not only is he excited about coming to work every day, but he's telling other people about his excitement working for this company, okay? And what culture does, culture actually helps you launch a brand, not just a product, okay? And I'll say it one more time. Culture will help you launch a brand, not just a product, okay? Now, another thing that I wanted to point out in this really well written article was just about the employees. the employees that worked for this company that had deep-rooted culture is that they had a lot of things that they agreed upon. But one of his Tony's famous quotes is, just because you can't measure the ROI of something, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. So if you're always trying to nitpick based on a monetative like thought process, oh, I don't want this because I don't think this is going to pay off, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Again, like, you should do what feels right for you and your core business and the values of what you want to achieve later when you're successful. So they had like all these values and things figured out before they launched Zappos. They already knew who they wanted to be when they grew up, right? And Tony was just like the master of capturing this magic. What's the ROI of hugging your mom? Think about that. Okay? I mean, this is my guy right here. What's our little thing? Come on, let's do our thing. We step into it, you know? That camaraderie. I like this guy. But if I'm always in his ass, like, yo, you're a fucking asshole, get this fucking shit done, or you're fucking done, right? No, it doesn't work. He's going to hate this company over time. It doesn't matter what I pay him. He's not going to be happy. So the ROI of the camaraderie, the relationship, the values that we find important are what are going to carry. Now, I got to tell you, we've been doing this at Workbnb for 2 years. What's the buzz on Workbnb like? It's crazy. It's crazy. Everywhere I go, I mean, I'm in an airport. I'm like just rolling my bag. Are you guys the founders of Workbnb? Oh, yeah. Nice to meet you. Oh, my gosh, we should sign up. You know, I've been telling my friends the talkability. And in our meetings, we talk about this every week. What are we doing that keeps people talking? Okay, podcast interviews, right? Articles, okay? But also, when we get on these podcasts and we get on these interviews, we have a rule. I have a rule of thumb. I spend more time telling a story, and I spend more, just amount of time, about an equal amount of time. It's about 30-30. 30% time I'm telling a story. Sometimes it's 50, but 30% is usually my rule. I only talk about the product 10% of the time. Like, I really don't want to obsess about, I want you to discover the product to see if it's going to work for you, okay? But I would much rather talk about our company's values, you know, what do we think is important, and then our vision. And those are things that really help you when you get out the gate, when you're ready to step out into the world and say, here's my product, we're ready. And those are really important things to remember, okay? Now, I'm going to keep it pushing because I really love this. This was a fantastic article. When companies think in the terms of scarcity, there aren't enough managerial positions for everyone, rankings where only the high potentials win, and there's not enough time and money for all the ideas, okay? Scarcity is one of the most dangerous things in a company. Scarcity thinking. Thinking that we don't have enough time, we don't have enough money, we don't have enough users, we don't have enough. I have spent a lot of time adopting what I call the abundance mindset, okay? That's also part of our company culture, all right? So every day, and this is a daily decision, I tell myself, we have enough time, we have enough money, we have enough energy, let's go get it. Let's go get it. It's like this hustle, like this grind, this grit. It's exciting. And what do? I tap into like the energy of others. Like, I don't know if you guys are big football fans, but Deion Sanders is now a football coach, and he's, prime time, not only, as like a football player, baseball player, but now he's a head coach of Colorado. So that's the reason why I got my hat on today. Coach Prime is playing today. But I tap into that. I'm excited by that prime time energy, that pumped up. And one of the things that I tapped into, and I've been doing this all year long, you guys have been seeing it, because he was doing it at Jackson State, not just like recently, but he has a mantra that he gets people to say all the time. It's just 2 words: I believe. And he gets, his players hyped up. He gets his staff hyped up. He gets the customers, the people that pay the ticket. The ticket for a Colorado football game is upwards of $500. It's higher than NFL tickets to go watch that team play. It was the worst team last year. It was the worst. But he brought the culture of prime and excellence with him. And he sold everybody on the culture. And if you were to go on Google right now and look up Deion Sanders and Coach Prime in Colorado football, it's having an explosion to where they are the most talked about football team in all of college football. Okay? That is what we should be shooting for as entrepreneurs, is talkability, getting people excited about us and all that type of stuff. But if you think about it, if you come from a scarcity mindset, you're so scared of running out of money, running out of customers, running out of time, that you will never really tell anybody, I believe. You won't say that. I believe I'm going to be successful. You don't want to say it because you don't want to look foolish if it fails. You always want to say, I'm trying to do this, or I might, or if. You're going to use a lot of passive words, things that aren't working for you. Okay? Let me take another sip, because I'm waving this beer around. But I'm here to tell y'all, there's nothing more powerful than confessing your convictions publicly on your Instagram, on your LinkedIn, whatever. And every time Workbnb posts something, our team members are in the comments, hashtag I believe. Now, what does that do to a customer when they're just like, oh shit, this is a startup, right? I want to, and I actually had somebody ask me this question. He said, how much are you paying your employees to say I believe? How many? Do I pay you anything?
Not that I know.
No, I don't pay nobody that. I don't pay anybody. It's because they believe. They're excited. And that translates, that spills over. Now, the reason why I brought up Tony Hsieh and Zappos is because of this other article. Okay, I'm gonna jump to it real quick. God bless the dead. We're sad about his passing, but I will tell you this. The reason why I'm excited about Workbnb and what we've achieved and what's the correlation? Oh, sorry, there's like an ad. What's the correlation? Is that I believe we're building another great tech company that's going to be recognized across the country. And the reason why I believe that is because the consistency of our branding, marketing, and the exposure of our culture has caught fire. So about 2 months ago, I got a call from a reporter from the Harvard Business Review. And he says, I want to do an article on Workbnb. And the first question I asked him, I said, what was like the last Nevada founder that you interviewed? Tony Hsieh. The last Nevada founder. Okay? That's exciting. Because again, it's like we're being recognized for these things that we didn't have to pay for. It didn't cost us anything to create culture. But we knew that if we had it, and we were in total conviction about it, vocal about that, and we, did the mantra, we stomp to it. We get excited about it. We get pumped about it. That it was going to resonate and it was going to reach others that we don't even know just yet. But again, the media is looking for good stories to tell, to inspire people. Inspiring someone is like the highest and greatest thing you can do in life. Okay? So, the article is going to come out in about a few weeks. I'm excited for everybody in Nevada to read it because I was just like super ecstatic to do it. But then just even a month ago, after I did the article, Inc. magazine is like, hey, we have this little show that's going to come out. It's called Being Seen, and it's on underrepresented black founders, and we think you're a great face for this. So they brought me into this basement. Now, I got to tell you, I'm always ready for an interview. Like, you got a camera. I got the shades ready. I'm ready to go. Like, I'm like Coach Prime. I'm like, let's go, baby. So we did the interview. We canned it. It's going to be coming out soon. So, okay, Harvard Business Review, Inc. magazine. And we're talking again about a story, about our customers and their problems, that 30%. We're talking about culture. We talk a little bit about a product. When hundreds of thousands of people are going to read that, what do you think is going to happen? Users are going to sign up. They're going to be compelled to believe. And then when they go to the socials and they read about this and that and they see all these posts, I believe, it's crazy what's going to happen. And I think all of us have this potential. We all have this potential in our own little categories of what product we're going to launch. You can get people to believe in you, your culture, and your brand. But you have to put the work in. Now, does anybody have questions about what the work requires? Any questions? I'll tell you one thing it requires, okay? I'm a huge fan of time boxing. Does anybody use time boxing? Okay.
Same as time blocking?
Exactly, the same thing, okay? Every single day, there should be a part of your day that you think about go-to-market. It should be your daily thing. What am I doing today to earn a customer? That is something I ask myself every single day. What am I doing today to earn a customer? That's go-to-market. What story am I telling? Now, I think everybody should have 3 stories, okay? The story of like, why are you doing this? What's your why? Have anybody ever heard that question before? What's your why?
That's Prime's thing.
Yo, you better have that story down on lock. And if I were you, I would have a 30-second version of that story and then a 60-second version of that story. Okay? What's your why? Okay, but that's one story. Second story is your customer. Choose a customer. Rick, Michelle, this is Michelle. She's having this problem. This problem sucks. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Talk about how bad it is. You know, in fact, a lot of people know me from my Techstars pitch. And I'm pretty much the only Techstars founder that went up on stage and on a big-ass slide, I was showing bed bugs. Nobody's ever shown anything that graphic before. You know, whenever they talk about their Techstars pitch, it's always like this slide that's all cute and looking with graphics and happy people. And I'm just like, yo, that's not storytelling. Let me tell the story of a worker who climbs a power line in like 105-degree heat. And this guy has to go stay at a roadside motel, and he had to move his room 3 times due to bed bugs. I'm telling his story, okay? It captivates people. But the other story, story number 3, is your culture story. Talk about the culture. Talk about the things that are more important other than just making money, okay? 3 stories. If you guys work on these 3 stories, trust me, you guys are going to have a hell of a go-to-market because you always have something to talk about. You always have a way to recruit somebody. You always have something that will resonate, that gets people excited, and it will lead to signups. Trust me. The traction will go insane. Now, any other questions about go-to-market? Anybody? Go ahead.
How do you define the best channel mix for this? The reason I ask this question is there's so much happening, around us, and we kind of like hop from one media to another, and it's extremely difficult to define the best mix, especially for startups. Like we don't have a lot of money; we have to be like very selective.
Right.
So, what's your recipe?
So I think about this in a few ways, and I talked about this at the last session, but there's a lot of different go-to-market strategies that you can adopt, okay? So one is like a community-driven strategy, where you develop a community first, okay? And that's what I did with Workbnb. Like before we did any code, before we did any product, before we did anything related to like the actual tech, I jumped on Facebook and started a Facebook group. It was free. And I called it the Workbnb App Coalition Group. And what I did was I went into a bunch of other Facebook groups that were like real estate groups. And I told everybody, I said, hey, I'm thinking about building an app that is for traveling workers. And I want to talk to more property owners about how we can make this happen. Would you guys like to join my group? And I posted the link. Now, it started off small. This was like February of like 2021. Started off with 5 people, then it grew to 10 people. And then, again, like I wasn't really like satisfied, but I was at it every day, just posting, going to different groups, posting. And then it grew to like 20, then 50, then 100. Today it's at like 700 something people in the group. I mean, that's still not like, I'm not satisfied. That's a quote from Coach Prime. I'm not satisfied. But, it's one of those things where it's just like, I'm excited because I have a user base that I didn't have to buy, that I can talk to. And then what we got them to do was convert. We got them to be our early signups. In fact, we have some people paying $9.95 just to wait in line for the product. They're just waiting in line like the DMV. So that's one technique, community-led, okay? Another cheap one is what we call inbound. okay? And that's a very powerful term because basically it just means that you're doing a lot of work to get people to attract to you. So one type of inbound is social media, okay? You're posting a lot, okay? Now, I find that to be like the hamster wheel because it's like the algorithms are not working in your favor unless you're paying. So I'm not the hugest fan of social media. I don't see like the highest and greatest value for early brands, but what I do like about inbound is if you do have active social media and you're not chasing like numbers, when you can land another piece of inbound, which is called earned media, which is like an interview, an article, then people will go to your socials and your socials are current. So then they're like, okay, well, at least they keep up their socials. They're telling a story every day on their socials. So I think I want to be a part of this. I like the story that they're telling. So that tends to work. And I've been doing inbound for 2 years. In fact, Workbnb has earned 17 media interviews in 2 years, 17, without a product launching. You know, but it's a lot of chasing. I mean, like literally, it's like emailing a reporter, you know, trying to tell a story, seeing if you can get them to agree. The very first article on Workbnb here in Las Vegas, it took 4 months to get the commitment, then sat down with the guy for like 2 hours. He wrote a really great piece, wanted to go meet us at a property, took really great photos. But it was so frustrating. The Las Vegas Review Journal bumped the release of the article like 3 times. It was like, oh, it's coming out this weekend. Okay, then we're telling everybody. And then it didn't happen. And I'm like, oh, sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. The article didn't come out. So, there's like a little frustrations along the way, but it's free. It didn't cost you anything, okay? And then the other thing is, and this is new, product-led growth, okay? A product-led strategy. That's where you are getting people into a product and you're trying to get as much feedback on the product so that you can get that, what's called a flywheel. Has anybody ever heard of a flywheel? It's just a way of distributing some sort of like access to other people through that particular user. So a lot of us have seen it where it says when you sign up for the product and it wants access to your contacts. Does anybody remember that type of shit? It wants access to your phone contacts. Yeah, that's a flywheel. It's already trying to get access to who you know. And then when you're on it and you like it and it says, do you want to recommend this to a friend, right? You hit that button, it sends me a text. Hey, she's using the product. She thinks you're going to like it. They even do like these incentives where they hook you up with like $20 if somebody signs up, whatever. That's a flywheel, okay? Product-led growth is something that a lot of early tech founders should be thinking about, okay? Certainly I am, but I'm not crazy about it just yet because, I'm still raising capital. Raising capital is hard. It's not easy. Any other questions?
What was that first story? The second one was main story. 2 was what's your customer?
Yeah, have a story about your customer, have a story about your why, and then have a story about your culture. Okay? And tell those stories all the time. In fact, I don't know if I got the volume on here, but
what do you mean by customer? The type of customer that you want?
y'all can see that, right? Yeah. Okay. So this is my Instagram. And again, I'm always thinking about people who have never met me ever. Why should they think I'm the leader of a great new company, right? I give them reasons of storytelling that if they go on to my account, which is not my name, number one, That's the personal brand that I want to give out. I'm the Workbnb CEO, okay? So when you go to my thing, you're finding my journey as CEO, okay? But it's not just about me, okay? So, let's see. Let's see if this will play.
That was all in my clothes. But as you see, it looks like this Airbnb is still somewhat under construction here.
So this is a journeyman lineman out on a project. He's traveling.
That's the, as I step in, I don't want to go all through the people house, but you can see that again is still under construction and still renting out to them. So, get out of here. But it's a crapshoot on basically what you get when you rent Airbnb.
It's a crapshoot.
It's a little more difficult as well with just as difficult with the hotel room. Because sometimes it can be very expensive, so you try to get a cheaper place and you get what you pay for. You know, you see a lot of vagabonds or vagrants hanging around parking lots and you go cheaper on the hotel room. You have to worry about your tools.
So I told him,
I'm gonna make this video with my work clothes on.
I told him, I said, you're on assignment. You're having this problem where you're staying. He was renting an Airbnb that was under construction. There was just nothing but shit in boxes. And this guy climbs power lines. He was on a job where there was, I think, a tornado. And, you know, he had to fly in and he was there to help restore power. So on his time off, I said, hey, record a video. Tell me about this shitty Airbnb you're staying in. I'll post it on my Instagram. Why Workbnb is on the bottom. Right? Storytelling. That's what we should be spending our time on. Because again, as we're getting ready to launch products, the more stories you tell, the more it resonates with other people. Right? So now his video was so long, I broke it into like 3 different parts. But again, it's like, it's part of my content mix. It's free and it's impactful. Okay? 3 stories. Any other questions?
Well, when you talk about the customer, so what do you mean by the type of customer?
So that's a good question. Your ideal customer persona, sometimes it's really hard to figure that out.
Yeah, like a
okay?
demographic.
Right.
Like 20
Right.
to 59, that's what everyone
I don't even subscribe to that thinking. I think that's more for larger scale companies that are just like thinking about like hundreds of millions of people, and they do this whole demographic breakdown and all that type of stuff. But when you're a startup, and you're at an event like this, right? You know, her in the back may be a great customer that you just don't know. You have no idea. So don't think about age, don't think about gender, don't think about anything. Just again, have your story ready to go. So when you can, why are you here? Well, I'm building something that helps ABC, and the reason why I'm passionate about this is because of, here's my why, right? And, she might say, oh my gosh, I've been looking for a product like this, right? Now, again, you're not going to try to categorize her and say, well, I'm looking for, her exact height and exact age and exact, and you're trying to replicate her because, this gentleman right here with the cool bag here, I'm feeling the bag. Hold on, let me get my bag because I'm feeling jealous. Hold on. Yeah, oh. my God, this is my baby. Okay, but anyway, he may be a customer that kind of fits the persona, but not necessarily, okay? He might not be an avid user of like what she might be, okay? He may have something relatable, or he may know somebody who can be a better fit, but you won't know until you get everybody in the room talking. So again, like, if you guys wanted to take anything to heart and say, I'm going to try this out ASAP, get that culture, get those stories together, get it together, and then start talking to people.
This is more a personal question for you. How do you stay motivated?
Well, number one, my why. You know, I come from a family that has a long legacy of like incremental achievements. On my grandfather's side, which is the Revels family, it's a very large black family from the South and from the Northeast. But everybody's like always remembering someone very like pillar in the family. His name was Hiram William Revels, and he was the first black senator for the United States out of Mississippi. So I'm, one of his heirs, right? But what's so interesting is that nobody else has ever run for office again. It's like, yeah, okay, we have history of being the first, but nobody's ever done it again. Right, legacy. I'm interested in legacy. So my why is to create a legacy of tech in the family. I want to get a lot of my future relatives and kids and their grandkids into tech. So as a tech founder, and I want to take the company public, and I want them to be heirs of the Workbnb empire. That's my vision. That's what keeps me motivated. So I don't care how hard it gets. Like, I got the tattoo right here. I'm in. I'm committed because I'm interested in legacy. So that's one of my other things. And then the other thing is, I have mentors that I can talk to, that I can call right now. In fact, let's just try a little experiment right here. Yeah, on a Saturday. I have mentors that I can call, and they like hearing from me. But they're always thinking, is it going to be, yo, Peter. Yo, bro, how you doing?
Good, how you?
Good. I am teaching a class right now about go-to-market strategy, and I have you on the call talking about how important it is to have a mentor that can pick up the phone. Everybody say hi to Peter.
What's your number?
Peter, thank you for taking my call. I have some good news I'm going to tell you about later. But anyway, have fun with your son.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you guys are out playing ball right now, right?
It's a soccer game later, a football game.
Okay, all right. Well, you guys have fun. Thank you for taking my call, Peter.
Anytime.
Always.
Anytime,
I appreciate
Good
you.
luck.
Yeah.
All right.
Yo, a mentor. Get a mentor. Somebody who's excited to talk to you. Just don't always just cry to your mentor, okay? Like, don't be like, oh, I got a parking ticket, and, this water bill, and this and that. Like, they're going to be, like, less motivated to take your call, okay? Like, ask them, like, hard questions, pick their brain, These are things that will keep you motivated. And then the third thing is reward yourself. You know, don't work so hard. Crack a beer sometime. You know, take a day off. I mean, I'm trying to get this guy to take more time off. You know, in our company, we have a thing called Self-Care Wednesday. So every Wednesday, we tell everybody, like, yo, go do something for yourself. Go get your nails done. Go get your hair cut. You know, take some time off for you, because the way I look at it, I would rather have you at 100 on one thing than have you at 20 or 30% on 10 things. Yo, forget about it. You're not going to be no good to me. We're not going to get a lot done. So, but again, I'm a small team right now. You know, we got a small team of like 12. Some of our guys are in like Tulsa, team in Arizona, team here. My mentor, Peter, is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So, you know, I find times to get away so that I can get more things done that are measurable. And again, it revolves around those 3 stories, though. Those 3 stories. If you look at almost everything I put my hands on, 3 stories are going out related to those tasks. Okay? Any other questions?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So when you talked about, not having to micromanage people and be hard on them, right? So you have, I'm in management too, and my wife is trying to get out of corporate America, right?
Okay.
This startup that we have. And there's the other caveat where you have somebody that takes advantage and doesn't work as hard, who might have the attitude and culture that you want. Like,
So
he's not getting done what you need to get done, so how do you deal with that?
So that's just based on how you decide on what performance is, and then you do a performance review.
So you're
Okay?
measuring them, right?
Yeah, you still put like there's work that goes into a startup. But I will say this.
So there's that.
You should always, as founder or co-founder, however high you are in the startup, you should always be thinking more about your own performance, okay? Because leadership requires guts. Like, you got to be gutsy to be a leader. And you really have to have confidence, because there are a lot of people who it happens where they look at their leaders and they're like, yo, I'm working for an incompetent leader. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard of a company called better.com. Have you ever heard of this company? Okay, so I'll give you a quick story about this company. So the founder spent a lot of time building this company. He was kind of like an absentee founder, very quiet, shy guy. He tried really hard to be likable, and the company raised a bunch of money. But what he did was he got on a Zoom call and he talked about how lazy everybody was, and then he fired a bunch of people. And this thing went viral. Like, it was like a disaster. The company was starting to like lose customers and lose all kinds of things. I mean, just because like this guy wasn't like the best founder. Like, he just didn't have, like what it took. Yeah, like he really wasn't worried about anything other than what everybody else was doing, right? And then you look at other companies, where it's just like the founders are like taking pay cuts so that they can keep people from losing their jobs, or paying their employees higher wages so that they have, better living, You have other founders that, make these commitments to growth where it's like, we're gonna be like, I don't know if you've heard of this concept, an employee-owned company where the employees own. Like, these things are like transformational, right? So Or you could be on the sharky side where it's like, you don't care. You'll cut your own mom out, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's two different types of ways you could go. But it's like, whatever way you want to choose, that's your culture. That's your culture. And there's also a very powerful statement that I heard one time that I really take to heart. The first 100 people you hire will determine your culture. Because it's the chemistry of that team. Once the company gets big and it's in the thousands of employees, those are considered the founding employees. Employee, I don't know if you ever heard of that. Employee number 1, employee number 2. People say I was employee number 3 at Apple. I don't know if you ever heard a documentary that started off like that. I was employee number 3, right? You can either be proud of that, or you could say it was the worst fucking experience of my life. and again, that's what people will go and tell other people. So, all right. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the talk. I mean, they're supposed to be short. I will be doing this on a regular basis for the rest of the year. I want you guys to learn, and I want you guys to be able to ask questions. But again, if you can work on your 3 stories, you can work on your culture. Feel free to come back next month. Tell me what you worked on, what you need help with, what you need resources for. Tech Alley is meant to help, okay? So I'm pretty accessible. You can follow me on Instagram, Workbnb CEO. Follow our updates. You know, stay connected. You know, hit me up through the DMs, whatever. Okay, just don't be DMing me like 3 in the morning, okay? That's all I ask. Okay. Right. All right. Well, hey, listen, I appreciate you guys coming. Thank you. All right.